Good evening and welcome to the New Hanover County All-County Band. We're so glad to see you this afternoon. We do have a few thank yous that we need to say. First, I'd like to recognize the upper administration from central office or any principal and administration from any school. If you could please stand to be recognized, we thank you for your support of the arts. We would like to especially thank Paul McCarty, Pat McCarty, and Philip Sutton, who are the principals at Murray and Ashley. We'd like to thank the custodians for their work on a Saturday. Thank you to Music and Arts for being here, fixing instruments, and serving us wonderful food today. Thank you to the Ashley High School Band Boosters Association, who fed the students on both days. Thank you to the band directors, Mr. Tyson at Murray and Mr. Parker at Ashley, for allowing us to use their facility, their equipment. We couldn't do this without this beautiful facility. Thank you to Tara Nolan for her assistance in the auditorium. Thank you to J.K. Lofton and Cape Fear Studio for recording, and there will be CDs sold in the lobby in between the concert and after the concert. Be sure to get one to hear your kids. The New Hanover County TV is recording today, and it will be aired at a later date. You can order CDs in the lobby. Jackie Booth, as thanking her for our fearless leader of arts education here in New Hanover County. We are blessed to have an arts supervisor. Many school systems do not have one. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce some very special people to you. Mrs. Amy Sandlin from Holly Shelter Middle School, the band director. Anna Griffith from Myrtle Grove Middle School. Dave Tyson from Murray Middle School. Patty Knopf from Noble Middle School. Carrie Lober from Trask Middle School. And Pete Frank from Rolling Grice. And myself, Gwen Fitzpatrick from Williston Middle School. Thank these wonderful teachers for all of their hard work with your students. Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce to you our conductor. Edna Grace, a native of Charleston, South Carolina, received a BS in Music Education from South Carolina State College, an MA in Music from Ohio State University, and a Master's of Ed in Administration and Supervision from the Citadel. Edna taught middle school in the Charleston area at several different schools until 2007. In the fall of 2007, Edna became the director of bands at Stratford High School, where students continued a tradition of excellence through participation in the concert bands, jazz band, marching band, and small ensembles. At the start of her 35th year of teaching, Ms. Grace took the sole position at Stratford High School of Director of the Choral Music Program, having had the dual role as head band director and choral director the previous 4 years. The program grew in student membership while continuing the program's past excellence. Edna has served as an honor band clinician and concert band adjudicator in South Carolina, North Carolina, Kentucky, and Georgia. Professional affiliations include the National Association for Music Education, South Carolina Music Educators Association, National Band Association, Phi Beta Mu Honorary Band Fraternity, Women Band Directors International, the South Carolina Band Directors Association, which she has served as secretary and as a member of several committees, the American Choral Directors Association, and the South Carolina American Choral Directors Association. She has been an adjunct faculty member of Charleston Southern University, where she has taught studio oboe and music appreciation. Among the honors that have been presented to Ms. Grace are the NBA Citation of Excellence and the Women Band Director International Scroll of Excellence. Since retirement in June 2017, Edna has spent her time traveling, serving as part-time organist, class leader, and director of the women's choir at her church, playing oboe and tenor saxophone in the St. James Wind Ensemble, as a band and orchestra adjudicator and clinician, as an artist in residence at schools in the area, and as a teacher substitute for instrumental and vocal teachers in Berkeley County. I also would like to add that I feel like I have met my kindred spirit, and you'll understand that when she comes out to the stage. Now, it is my pleasure to bring to the stage Miss Edna Grace and the Middle School All-County Band.
Good afternoon. It has been, well, it's always a great honor when somebody asks you to do something. And I want to give special thanks to Miss Jackie Booth, Fine Arts Coordinator, and Gwen Fitzpatrick. Her name just went out of my head just like that. And I will tell anybody, I am horrible with names, horrible. I have to see you at least 3 weeks every day in a row, at least, an hour and a half, and then I might remember who you are. But they have been so lovely here. You all are very, very fortunate in this county to have the people that you have working with your children. They have been nothing but fabulous to me. I feel like I'm home, and coming from the Charleston area, we define Southern hospitality, but I think y'all are right up there with us, so thank you for that. That first piece was a piece that was commissioned, I believe, by a band here in North Carolina. I don't remember which one right now. The next piece that we're going to play was a different kind of a challenge for us. The first piece was a challenge because it was fast, lots of complicated rhythms, and we didn't all have the same rhythms at the same time. This one's complicated because it has different parts, once again, built that support the whole, and then we're asking middle school children to play slowly and pretty. After 6 years of middle school band, I understand that it takes a long time to get pretty, but these kids really did well with it. It's a piece I had commissioned for my middle school band back in 2003 by a dear friend of mine who is originally from Louisiana. He's an African-American composer. And at the time I commissioned this work, he's like, well, what do you want it to be like? I said, well, I think I'd like something slow, and I'd like to do it in honor of my parents, who were still alive at the time. And like every other kid, my parents were horrible to me growing up. I mean, they were so mean. They didn't let me do anything. I am so thankful for them now. The older I get, the more thankful I become. But this work, I want you to picture, if you will, your low country area with the mosses and the oak trees and the chirp of the frogs and the crickets and everything at nighttime in the cool of the summer evening. Our three soloists on alto sax was Orrin Johnson, trumpet was Jillian Green, and flute was Bailey Gilman. Yo, that was not an easy piece, and every time I hear it, I fall more in love with it, and I'm always amazed at how middle school children rise to the challenge. When I came, I didn't realize how abbreviated the schedule was going to be, and I elected instead to do just 3 of the pieces we had in the folder. And so there are a couple of things I'd like to say before we do our last piece. I did not pick easy music. They can play easy music on their own. They can download it off of the web for free and all that good stuff. I picked teaching pieces, and I think we learned a lot. They are fabulous children, so if they are misbehaving at home, you have it straight from my mouth to your ears, they can behave. They were wonderful. So, you know, don't push them, push them. Teenagers need to be pushed. That's just the way that they are. I remember being a teenager, and my mom and dad fussed constantly. And I beat my brother up constantly, and therefore got spanked a good bit. Made him the man that he was, but there you go. One of the things that I always like to share with you, as lightly as we take it, this opportunity that we have with these children shows us only a smattering of the best kids that there are in our country. Most of our kids do well. They're staying out of trouble, they are learning, they are active, and they are better than most of the reports say teenagers are. I don't know who they're reporting about on TV, but they're not seeing the kids that I see. So, one of the things that I want to encourage you about is to remember that children are still learning, and that sometimes we do it so many times we forget we haven't told them, or that they do really need to be told 100 times. It's true. They forget. You have to remind them. But we cannot give up because they're the best that we have to offer. And if we give up on our best, then we're going to lose. So let's support them. Let's support them in their music endeavors because every child that is in a fine arts program is above average. You cannot be average and be in a performing ensemble. Average is about a 70. Now imagine hearing your favorite musician leave out 30% of the lyrics and 30% of the notes. Now, would you pay for that concert? No. And these kids do better than that. They're closer to like 95, 98%. They are above average. Remind yourself and them of that. When they act less than above average, remind them that they're above average. We're going to hold their feet to the fire. You hold your feet to the fire. Encourage your school board, your upper echelon educators to remember that music is important. Our state's Band Directors Association motto is, music is instrumental to success. It helps us to be better people. Thank you once again to all of the directors here who made me feel very much at home. I'll come back anytime. I will come back anytime. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to be with your children. They have certainly been a gift for me, and I appreciate the opportunity. Our last selection is Rough Riders March.
Middle school students, you did an awesome job. Let's give them another round of applause. I'd now like to introduce to you the high school band directors. First, I have Bob Pearson from Laney High School. Next is Andrew George from New Hanover High School. Next is Rob Parker from Ashley High School. And lastly is Rod Reed from Hoggard High School and the chairperson for high school portion. Let's give them a warm round of applause for all their hard work.
Why is this mic so low? All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm so glad to be here, so honored to be here as well. I've been a teacher in New Hanover County Schools for 21 years. This is my 21st year at Hoggard, and it's such an honor to do this event every year. This is such an exciting thing for our kids to do. So we hope you enjoy the afternoon of music from our honor band on stage in front of you. Our clinician this year is Dominic Talenko. He is a director of bands and assistant professor of music at the University of North Carolina, Wilmington. Mr. Talenko conducts a symphonic band and pep band, teaches courses in conducting and woodwind techniques, and holds and all aspects of the band program. In addition to his responsibilities at UNCW, Mr. Talenko is a conductor of the Wilmington Symphonic Winds and the Ollie New Horizons Band. Mr. Talenko received a Bachelor of Music Education degree and Master of Music and Wind Conducting degree from the University of North Texas, where he studied conducting with Eugene Corporon and his saxophone with Eric Nessler. He is currently pursuing a Doctor of Musical Arts and Wind Conducting degree at Northwestern University under the guidance of Mallory Thompson. It's my honor and privilege to welcome to the stage our high school honor band and Mr. Talenko.
Good afternoon. It's good to see everybody, and I'll say the thank yous later, but that first piece that you heard is called Outlaws by Steve Danu. He's a living composer, and the piece was inspired by his recollections of having a great imagination and going off and playing in the woods with his friends. They had BMX bikes, but they were always scared of these. He didn't describe them as bullies, but it was the older kids with motorbikes, and they would come racing through, and so it was just kind of this whole idea of, kind of this, the chase and the catch, and so, I thought it would be a fun piece for us to do, and that was called Outlaws. The next piece, I'd like to read the dedication of the piece to you. It's called Our Castaways by Julie Giroux, who is a living female composer who's won Emmys for her work in TV and film composition. The piece is for those who rescue, those who get rescued, and especially for those whose rescue never comes. It's about rescue animals. And so it's quite lovely, and the score, you can't see it, I'm sorry, has pictures of all the commissioning bodies, all the people who got the piece written, and all of their animals that they've rescued. And then there's pages upon pages of pictures of all her friends on social media that rescue animals. And we took a poll in here, and there were just so many students who were like, I'm a rescue animal. So this, I thought, would be a piece that would be touching and meaningful to us, and so we hope you enjoy Our Castaways. next piece we're going to perform is called Downside Up, and it's by a living composer originally from Texas, lives in Georgia now. His name's Will Pitts. He does a lot in the marching band arena. He was drum major of Phantom Regiment, for those who follow drum corps years ago. But he writes concert music as well, and some of the music that he writes, like this piece, is minimalist, and what we mean by that is just this constant driving pulse and rhythm, and on top of these, lots of very busy, maybe not melodic lines, there's this lyricism on top of it, which is quite nice, and so we hope you enjoy Downside Up. Well, to echo the sentiments of my colleague, it is such an honor to be invited anywhere, let alone being invited, for me, to my own backyard, living in Wilmington. It's an honor that the directors, trust us, entrust us with working with your students, and they're wonderful people, and I start with that because yes, this is an all-county band, and it's great that they're wonderful musicians, but first and foremost, they're wonderful people, and that's a reflection of what they get from all of their teachers in their schools, and obviously at home from you, the parents, and so we appreciate all of the support. At this age, it's very easy to have our attentions diverted towards other things, and we want to try everything and experience life and do all of these different things, but sometimes it takes a little bit of encouragement from our families to stick with something that we know is worthwhile. And this is one of those things. And, some of these students are seniors and some of them are freshmen. And, those who are seniors, I'm not trying to make music majors out of everybody because that's not everyone's path. But everyone has grown as humans because of studying music. There's lots of ways to grow as people, right? But our path seems to be all the stuff that we've done with music in our lives, and it's meant something to us, and that's why we're here. And I encourage the students to continue playing in college, even if it is just for fun, because it's something that if they don't, someday they may look back and say, man, I used to da-da-da-da-da. I mean, how many people do you know that, I have this trumpet that's in the closet and I wish I kept playing, And so please consider making music part of your life, even if it is not your career path. And that's okay. I think we owe our parents a round of applause for all of their support. Parents, I know you're thinking, well, that was not very enthusiastic. They're just tired. We've been working them very hard. So they'll thank you more at home and give you hugs and all of that. And let's congratulate the middle school group that played and these students here for being here. Thank you to Jackie Booth for her leadership over the arts in New Hanover County. Thank you to all of the band directors, middle school and high school, for inviting us and supporting this wonderful event. These were my favorite events as a student, is coming together with other like-minded musicians. I didn't have as good of an experience as a lot of these students have in their high school programs, but when I got together with other students from other places, it really set me on a path to doing what I'm doing, and not that's the goal, but it was always my favorite time of year, was getting to play music with other students who were interested in the same thing. So thank you all for being here. I think I haven't forgotten anything, but if I forgot you, I'm sorry. Thank you. Finally, we're going to conclude with a piece that my teacher, and I love speaking about my teachers, but my teacher, Eugene Corporon, told me about this past summer, and he played it with the University of North Texas Wind Symphony, and he's like, Dom, that's me. He's like, you gotta do this piece. And I was like, okay, I'll do this piece, all right. And it's called Acadiana, and Frank Ticheli is a very famous very famous composer in our genre. He composes for lots of things, but we really know him well, and he really treats the band world really well. So he wrote many years ago Cajun folk songs, and then he was like, wow, that was a hit. People liked it so much, he wrote Cajun folk songs too. And guess what? Third time's a charm. This is called Acadiana, and it is his third in the series, and it's his largest version of Cajun folk songs. It's 3 movements, it's 17 minutes. We're not doing the whole thing, we're doing just the third movement. But you'll spot some really cool percussion instruments that we've had a lot of fun incorporating, so keep your eyes peeled for different things and different events happening around, and we hope you enjoy Acadiana to Lafayette by Frank Ticheli.